You are listening to the Keep the Weight Off podcast with Dr. Angela, episode number 106.
Welcome to the Keep the Weight Off podcast, where we bust all the dieting myths and discover not just how to lose weight, but more importantly, how to keep it off. We go way beyond the food, and we use science and psychology to give you strategies that work. And now your host, Dr. Angela Zechmann.
All right. Hey, everyone, and welcome to the podcast this week. So other than some tech frustrations, I've had a great day. How are you doing, Marchelle?
I'm doing great. I could use some sunshine, though. I'm getting kind of sick of the rain.
Yeah, we've been having a lot of rain around here. So, Yep. So those of you who are living in sunny climates, be grateful.
Right.
The day's getting longer, though, so it's nice. Days are getting nice.
Oh, that is nice. I do appreciate that. Right.
All right. Well, let's get on with business. Today, I thought it would be fun to have a little true-false weight loss quiz. What do you think about that, Marchelle?
Oh, that sounds like fun. It's a good idea.
I know. Yeah. So I think that most people who have been listening to this podcast are going to get these ones right. But you never know, because sometimes I have some surprises. So, Marchelle, you'll probably be just fine with this. So are you ready? Ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready for this.
You get to be the guinea pig on this. Okay, great.
All right. So let's do it.
So here's our weight loss quiz. So the first question, I have to give you a little background. Let's say that last Sunday, I weighed myself first thing in the morning. After I peed, before I got dressed, I was totally naked. I didn't have on any jewelry, nothing. And let's say that I weighed myself and I weighed 225 pounds. Now, I'm just picking a number. This is nobody in particular. I'm just picking a number. So that's last week. Let's say then that this week on Sunday, 1 week later, 7 days later, I did the exact same thing. I weighed myself first thing in the morning after I peed, buck naked, and I weighed 220 pounds. So this means I lost 5 pounds of fat during those 7 days that week. True or false? What do you think, Marchelle?
Okay, so I'm just going to pretend that I don't work for you, and that before I started working for you, what would my answer be? Because I know that you've taught me a whole lot about this, but I would have said that that I would have lost 5 pounds. That's what I would have thought. Just jumping on the scale, I would have said, yay, I just lost 5 pounds. That's so awesome in 1 week. Yay. So that's my
5
answer.
pounds of
yes.
fat. Okay.
I would have just thought of it just 5 pounds. I don't really, I didn't really distinguish in the past. I just said 5 pounds, whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I said, true or false, this means I lost 5 pounds of fat during those 7 days. And the answer is false. Okay. And so, Marchelle, you've been working for me for a while. So now you know this. Losing 5 pounds in 1 week does not mean that you have lost 5 pounds of fat. And this is because weight loss does not equal fat loss. And anyway, it's not likely anyone is going to lose 5 pounds of fat in a week. So don't ever let those diet programs tell you that you can lose 5 pounds of fat in a week, because it's really, really rare. So
that is true.
We've seen lots of people lose lots of weight.
I've tried.
Yeah, but you're not likely to lose 5 pounds of fat in 1 week. So what was going on? It's likely that there were some fluctuations in the body's water balance that made up some of that weight change. It's possible that there could have been some loss of muscle mass, although we teach people to make sure that doesn't happen. But in all likelihood, the maximum amount of fat that you can lose in a week is like 2 to 3 pounds. And usually, in my experience, that comes at a cost of losing muscle mass. And so my typical recommendation is that you can safely lose about 1 pound of fat every week if you're nourishing your body really well and you are not losing a bunch of muscle mass in the process. But you're not going to have any idea by using your bathroom scale what the heck's going on. The truth is, you can't depend on your bathroom scale to give you any accurate information about fat loss. So it's really good at telling you how gravity is affecting your body. That's about it, though, you know? So For a true assessment of fat loss, you need body composition testing. So I recommend finding an in-body scale and getting tested once a month. Don't even bother trying to do once a week body composition testing. Even it's just too much pressure, So just go find a facility with an in-body scale near you. So just go to inbodyusa.com and just plan to go in there once a month just to assess your progress. And you can be guaranteed that if you're being super careful with your carbohydrates, that you're going to lose fat, but you cannot be guaranteed that you're not going to lose muscle mass. So that's the question. Okay. Do you have anything to add on to that, Marchelle?
Oh, just the body composition machine is super helpful. I really like it a lot. So I use it. I use it every month.
Yeah. Yeah. And I recommend that everybody does it. Everybody who's trying to lose fat and is serious about nourishing their body well and not losing muscle mass in the process, which you all should be, just get a body composition test done every week while you're in the fat loss process. Okay, good. Next question. You ready?
Yes. Let's do it.
True or false? A gluten-free diet is a healthy diet.
Okay, so I don't know a lot about gluten-free stuff because I don't have problems with it. But from what I understand about gluten, it's like related to, the leaky gut problem. So I would say gluten-free diet is a healthy diet. That's my answer.
Yep, that's a good answer. This is actually a trick question, though, because sometimes the answer is yes, and sometimes the answer is no on this one. So,
okay.
Here's what I've discovered. Most people who are eating gluten-free are doing some wonderful things for their body by avoiding wheat flour. And you know how much wheat flour is in processed foods, right? So it's present in many, if not most, processed foods. So in that way, they're really helping themselves out by avoiding all that processed crap. But what I often see is that they're using other forms of carbohydrates to substitute for the wheat. So they're eating a lot more rice or rice flour, for example. And these types of carbs are going to jack up your insulin levels and create visceral fat and cause people to struggle with obesity. So just because you're gluten-free, this does not mean by definition that your food choices are going to bring you optimal health. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So gluten-free is a good start, but most people need to do more than just become gluten-free in order to bring their insulin levels down so they can lose fat. All right, next question. You ready?
I'm ready.
True. Okay, great. I'm listening for you to say you're ready. Okay.
I'm ready.
You're ready. Okay. True or false? A vegan or a vegetarian diet is a healthy diet. What do you think about that?
Okay, so there's been times when I have eaten vegetarian because I totally thought it was healthy. And I admire people that eat vegan because I think that they're healthy people. So I would have to say yes. I think it's a healthy diet.
So this one is, like the last question, a trick question, because many people who go the vegan or vegetarian route are doing excellent things for their body, avoiding toxic animal products like processed meats and fast food burgers and that sort of crap food. But plenty of vegetarians think nothing of downing an entire bag of Doritos or package of Oreos.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
They're vegan.
Okay.
Like there's no animal products in those things, right? Soda's vegan too.
Yeah, I did see something recently and I thought this was really funny. I saw this Kit Kat bar at the store and it did say vegan on it. And I thought that was kind of funny. It said the Kit Kat bars were vegan. So yeah. I guess that is something that is kind of funny.
Yep. Yeah. So you have to be careful with these sorts of claims, okay?
Yeah, the food industry is, they're taking it a little too far. I don't think that, I don't know. I don't think true vegans are, they're eating Kit Kat bars and calling it vegan, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, I have seen my daughter's friends. Oh yeah, I decided to go vegetarian. And they're eating a bag of Doritos. I'm like, what
really?
the hell?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay.
Yeah. So again, just be careful. It's fine to be picky about your protein sources. No question about that. I recommend being picky about your protein sources. But if you're substituting junk carbs for protein, you're going to be in a world of hurt when it comes to your health. Okay? That's just something to think about. Okay. Next question. This is a good one. True or false? A keto diet is a great way to lose weight and keep it off. What do you think, Marchelle? And
Okay,
you
so
listeners, think about this one too.
Okay, now can I give you my honest opinion about this?
Yeah.
Or I'm going to answer like what I honestly think. I think that the keto diet is great for some people,
Mm-hmm.
and not great for everybody. I think everybody's body is different and reacts differently to different ways of eating, and so I've seen it work really well for some people and not work very well for other people. So that's what I've seen. That's my honest answer.
So your honest answer is neither true nor false.
Yeah, that it works great for some people, but not everybody.
Okay, great. Well, here's what I want everybody to understand. The answer to this is false, but I want to explain why I'm saying that, okay? Because I chose my words very carefully when I made my statement. A keto diet is a great way to lose weight and keep it off. So the first thing I want to do is I want to explain what a keto diet is for those of our listeners who have never heard of it or aren't really sure what it is. And so what you do when you're eating keto is there are two different sources of energy that your body can use. So your body can use glucose for energy, which comes from carbohydrates. Your body can also use fats for energy. So the body would prefer, first choice is to use glucose for energy. Second choice is to use fats for energy. So what you do when you're on a keto diet is you get rid of anything that is going to break down into glucose so that you force your body to use fats for energy. So then it will use your stored fat for energy. Okay. So when you're eating a keto diet, your net carb grams are like less than 20 a day. It's pretty low. So even a banana is going to throw you out of ketosis. And so people who are doing keto diets the idea is that when you're burning fat for energy, you're going to spill ketones into your urine. So they'll get these urine keto sticks and they'll pee on them. And that will tell them how far into ketosis they are. Okay. They might also sometimes notice that their breath might be a little bit changed. There might be a weird odor to their breath. And that's because you're expelling the residual ketones out in the air that you breathe. So there's nothing wrong with being in ketosis. It's actually a very healthy state to be in. It's a little bit like, imagine fueling your body. Imagine that you have a fire and you're using firewood. Firewood is like glucose. It runs out quickly. You have to keep replenishing it. Or let's say you have an oil fire. An oil fire, you just start the flow going and you don't have to worry about it. It just replenishes itself. So people who are doing keto diets report really good energy levels. Their brain seems to be functioning much better, lots of mental clarity. It's a great way to live. It is being in ketosis and staying in ketosis is a really nice, it feels really good for most people. Now, you said that there are people for whom that doesn't work. And there are people, their bodies just don't really seem to do all that well when they're doing a ketotic diet. So, but that's not the norm. Most people do really, really well. The question is, are you going to stay in ketosis? Okay. And this is the problem that people always forget. And this is why I say the answer to this is false. Being on a keto diet is indeed a great way to lose weight. But unless you're going to do a keto lifestyle, you're not going to keep the weight off. Okay. As soon as you go back to eating more carbs, the weight's going to come back on. So a keto diet is not a great way to lose weight and keep it off. It's a great way to lose weight, but it's not a great way to keep it off unless you intend to do a keto lifestyle. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I've heard lots of people, lots of our patients come in, lots of them too, that have said, I did the keto diet for a year and then, lost a bunch of weight, of course, and then couldn't sustain it.
Yep.
And so that's kind of where I got the attitude about that it works for some people and not for everybody, because I have heard that feedback a lot.
Yeah. It works great, but you have to be willing to commit. Whatever you do to lose weight, you have to be willing to commit to continuing it, because obesity is a chronic, progressive, relapsing disease. So whatever you do to get it under control, you have to keep doing in order to keep it under control. So if you just want to lose weight really quickly for some event or something and you want to do a keto diet, I don't really recommend that, but if you want to do that, go for it. But don't expect that to lead to lasting weight loss. And we are called the Keep the Weight Off podcast, not the Lose Weight for a Special Event and then Gain It Back podcast.
Right.
So the other thing that I want to mention about keto is that you want to have what's called a well-formulated ketogenic plan. And what that means is a lot of people hear about keto and they're like, oh yeah, all I have to do is just eat meat and cheese. And I'm just going to eat meat and cheese all day. And I'm going to have these pork rinds for my snacks. And they just eat all kinds of processed keto bars. And, they're basically still eating processed crap food, just in keto form. And it's like, well, that'll work for fat loss, but you're learning nothing about how to nourish your body. And you're really not going to be any better off. You're not getting the vitamins and nutrients that you need from whole foods. You've just learned nothing, basically. So if you are going to do a keto lifestyle and you're going to bring your carbs down less than 20 net carbs a day, then you're going to have to be super careful with things like bananas. You're going to be super careful with things like sweet potatoes. And you're going to want to nourish your body with really good, high quality protein, lots of nourishing vegetables, healthy fats, all of that. But you're going to have to avoid starchy vegetables and grains. You're going to have to avoid potatoes, corn, rice, all of that. So that's what a well-formulated ketogenic plan would be. Don't do a keto diet. Do a well-formulated ketogenic plan if you want to go that route. And by the way, if you have diabetes, that is a really great way to live your life. You're going to feel so good living your life that way. But of course, you're going to have to fight everybody around you in the food industry and all of our social norms because nobody does this in our country, except maybe me and you.
Yep.
So, yeah. All right. Do you have any comments or questions about that, Marchelle?
No, that was a great way of putting it. I like how you put that. That was good.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Ready for the next question?
I'm ready.
This is a good one. True or false? If you overeat one night, you can burn off the calories with exercise the next day. Or if you want to have a cheat meal, you can exercise ahead of time to burn off some of the calories in advance. What do you think about that? True or false?
Okay, so right now I'm LOLing in my mind.
Why?
Because I have totally done this like a lot of times. And I don't know if anybody else has done this that's listening to this podcast, but I'm
sure
guilty.
Yeah, me too.
I am guilty of this. So I'm going to say that it's false, although I have thought that it's true before.
Yep.
So
yeah, you are absolutely correct. And I have done the same thing. I have eaten like 3 pieces of cake. And then I thought, well, I'll just get up in the morning and go run it off. It's like, oh, geez,
Me too.
False. Okay. This is false. This is so false. This is one of those weight loss myths that lives on and drives me absolutely crazy. So it's this idea, that the diet industry perpetuates and all of the calorie counting apps perpetuate that you can trade off food and exercise. So there's you can eat more food if you exercise more, and you can eat less and exercise less and everything will be fine. Like there's a trade-off, and that does not work. This is not the way the body works. It's not a calories in and calories out equation like we've been led to believe. So your body is way more complex than this. So don't ever, ever, ever fall victim to this thinking. And by the way, I will say that the food industry markets in this way as well with their little 100-calorie snacks, or like Coca-Cola has a campaign because public health people are getting on them about all of the serving sizes and selling sugar-laden stuff. And so Coca-Cola is like, this can be used as part of a balanced diet in moderation with exercise. And I'm just like, I just want to wring their little necks because it's like,
right? Jeez.
Yeah. So don't fall victim to any of this. So the only way to lose fat is to lower your insulin levels. Okay. The only way to be healthy is to eat high quality food, whole food on a daily basis. So do not think that you can starve yourself thin, exercise yourself thin. Do not believe any of this BS that we've been taught for decades. Okay. And I'm very passionate about helping you understand that. It's so, so simple. Nourish your body with high quality protein, not junk protein, lots of vegetables, whole foods, healthy fats, and a little bit of fruit, and you're going to lose fat. Exercise because healthy bodies want to move, and it's fun, and it's really going to help your mental health. But don't exercise to burn calories. Don't trade food splurges for exercise. It's not a good trade. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I said I have such a naughty brain that, I mean, until I started exercising for my mental health, you know, my life changed once I started doing that, because when I was exercising to burn calories, that was just a nightmare. It was, I did a lot of, you know, cheating on my diet and over exercising and all of that. And then once I switched that mindset to be working out for my mental health, and things changed, and now I feel a lot better about exercising. But so learn from my mistakes, and you can't exercise the weight off. Doesn't work like that.
Doesn't work like that. Okay. So are you ready for the next one, Marchelle?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. You are doing great. True or false? How you think is just as important as how you eat.
Oh, I think that how you think is more important than how you eat.
Good job. This one is most definitely true. So yes, what you think is just as important as what you eat, and how you think is just as important as how you eat. So we've talked about this before on the podcast many times because it's so important. If you start a weight loss plan from a place of self-hatred and you have these horrible thoughts like, I've got to get this under control. I'm a horrible person. I hate myself. I've got to rein this in. You can't be successful long-term thinking like that. You may be able to lose fat, but in the end, you'll still hate yourself. And trust me, I know this from personal experience because I have done these crazy rigid diets and I have lost a lot of weight and I've still hated myself in the end, and it's never successful long-term. So how you think is definitely the most important thing. Mindset has to come first, meaning manage your mind, okay? Think in a way that serves you. You're not allowed to beat yourself up, okay? Nobody listening to this podcast is allowed to beat themselves up. So you always want to be coming from a place of self-love and self-compassion. Remember that you're dealing with a disease. The food industry and social norms are completely against you. I talked last week about how obesity is truly a public health disaster. 75% of American adults are struggling with this disease. It is unconscionable what the food industry is doing. And if you want to get control of this disease, you're going to be most successful if you come from a profound place of self-love and get the emotional support that you need. And remember, we do all of this in our Empowered Weight Loss membership. So that is something that I really want to have everyone listening to this consider joining us in. That make sense?
Yes, that does. She's not kidding, you guys. If you are struggling with this, the thinking part of the losing weight, then definitely get involved in the Empowered Weight Loss. It's do yourself a favor. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think this might be the last question. I'm not sure, but I think this is it. Okay. True or false? With enough willpower, anyone can lose weight. What do you think of that, Marchelle? True or false?
Yeah, this question, this has confused me a lot, like with my weight loss journey. I used to think losing weight had a lot to do with willpower. I am learning that that's actually not true. So I would have to say that's false.
Yep. Good job. Good job. Oh my, this one is so false. I just sometimes want to scream. It's just one of those horrible myths out there floating around in our collective consciousness that drives me insane. Obesity is a disease. It's not a character flaw. Willpower is not going to fix it. Not long term anyway. You might be able to use willpower for a short period of time, and that seems like it fixes it, but this rarely works long term. So again, obesity is a chronic, progressive, relapsing disease. The brain pathways that signal hunger and satiety, which means a sense of fullness or a sense of satisfaction, that sense of I'm done, those brain pathways are not working correctly. So the brain thinks you're starving and it's driving you to eat. For most people, there's also an element of addiction in which the pleasure pathways of the brain have been hijacked by processed foods. So we're getting big, huge dopamine hits from the processed foods that we eat. And these foods are deliberately designed to be addictive. And we've talked a lot about this on the podcast too. So I just want everyone to understand that this is not a willpower issue. This is brain chemistry. And getting off processed foods is your first step in fixing this. There are also medical treatments and surgical treatments that will help you get this disease under control. We have a podcast coming up about medications, and I'm super excited about this because there are some pretty amazing medications available and new ones coming on the market that are going to be very, very helpful to help to correct that brain chemistry. Okay. But I want all of our listeners to know you can't rely on your willpower to overcome this. In a previous podcast, Dr. Angela Golden compared using willpower to fight obesity to running up the stairs holding your breath. Like you can do it for a little while, but eventually your brain's going to demand that you breathe. Okay. So the same is true when you're trying to use your willpower to diet and exercise your way to weight loss. Like you can do it for a little while, but eventually your brain is going to demand that you eat. So get the help you need. Get all the tools that you need to get this disease under control. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. So you're not broken. It's not a willpower thing.
Nope, not at all. So I hope this quiz has been helpful for you. Remember, if you're new to this podcast and you want help, a good first step is to take the Banish Belly Fat mini course. So all you have to do is go to journeybeyondweightloss.com and click on the little tab that says how to get rid of belly fat or banish belly fat, something like that. And you can get started with a mini workshop that will teach you everything you need to know to lose weight. And then once you're done with that, consider joining us in the Empowered Weight Loss membership so you can learn all the skills that you need to lose the weight and keep it off. Okay? So, do you have any last minute comments or questions, Marchelle?
No, I think you answered her. You did a great job. I think you did a great job and you scored 100% on this quiz. So good job. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. All right, everyone. That's all for this week. I hope you all have a great week and we will see you next week. Take care. Bye.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Hey, if you really want to lose weight and keep it off for good, your next step is to sign up for Dr. Angela's free weight loss course, where you're going to learn everything you need to get started on your weight loss journey the right way. Just head over to journeybeyondweightloss.com/free course to sign up. Also, it would be awesome if you could take a few moments and write a review on iTunes. Thanks, and we'll see you in Journey Beyond Weight Loss.